through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City looks so, so pretty. You'll see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Won't you get hip to this time of tip and take that California trip? Get your kicks on Route 66.
When you think of art, you probably think of it hanging on a wall.
That's exactly what you'll find in one Missouri town, only as photojournalist Jim Veman shows us, these walls are actually the sides of buildings.
It started in 2001. We had a wall and we decided to do a mural. We found a Canadian artist who flew down here, and 8 days later we had our first mural. And she gave us the vision that we could do a mural project and have many murals depicting our town's heritage and relating to our nation's history. So we actually have a goal of completing 12 murals by 2007 when Cuba celebrates their 150th anniversary.
My name is Chip Lang, and this is part of my Eagle Scout project. There's a series of 5 murals down the street. This is the Battle of Pilot Knob, and this is Captain William Campbell of the 14th Iowa. This is the skirmish at Huzzah. The entire project, I raised about $36,000. A lot of donations, $1,000 we raised at a local event. It was a living history for the Civil War. I love the Civil War. We have 9 other murals in town. They've been looking for ideas of murals, and just thought I'd volunteer and try and do this one. Don has done all these. He's a great guy. Found him, thought he's a great find. He did extra research. Everything that he has done, everything he's collected, just all managed to make him the perfect artist.
What I'm painting is a Civil War mural, and it's an actual event that took place in this region. It's the Battle of Pilot Knob. I've read a lot of first-hand accounts about it, and when the cavalry showed up, there was great rejoicing, as you might imagine. I've really enjoyed this project. It's been great pleasure to me, and quite a challenge. It's become a balancing act for me to try to create something that is first and foremost a work of art, and secondly something that has some degree at least of historic authenticity or integrity to it. Well, it does make me feel good. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this, and people here in Cuba have been so supportive and appreciative, and people drive by and give me the thumbs up, and it's a very good feeling. This young man that I'm painting in the mural right now is an actual person who's actually here today. That's Chip Lang.
I like that. I'd like to know that I could always be with everybody else in the mural, and that I'll basically always be remembered here.
Cuba, Missouri is about 85 miles west of St. Louis. It's a great small town, so it's definitely worth the trip.
St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City looks so, so pretty. You'll see Amarillo and Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Won't you get hip to this time of tip when you make that California trip? Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66.
Every place we go to has a story. It's just that sometimes you have to look pretty hard to find it. That's not the case with the place Anne Marie Berger's about to take us. This is a town that has a story, and they've made sure that when you get there, you can't miss it.
The exterior walls on buildings in Cuba, Missouri, an historic Route 66 town about 80 miles west of St. Louis, have become a canvas for art and history. Cuba, now known as Mural City, launched its mural project in 2001 with the intent of completing its final painting by its 150th anniversary this year.
Our goal by 2007 was to have 12 murals. It's 2007, we have 12 murals.
This 12th mural is the one that we will sign tonight, so we have completed that phase of our project and we're glad to have you all here. We'd like to thank...
This event commemorating the signing of the city's 12th public mural even brought out the Missouri Highway Patrol. And not just because they happen to be featured in this latest work of art, but because the Cuban Mural Project is a big deal for this Missouri town.
It could be an economic stimulus in itself because it would attract tourists to our town, plus you'd have public art as well.
Cuba isn't a stranger to strangers. In the 1930s, Route 66 began running through this railroad town, and with it came travelers by automobile on their way to any place east or west of there. As a result, motels, cafes, and other businesses began popping up. And the building that showcases Cuba's 12th mural represents Route 66 in its heyday.
This was one of the, what is called a cottage-style gas station on Route 66. These went up and down the highway. And if you look at the building, it does look like a little cottage. And this was kind of the style on Route 66 of some of the hotels and some of the gas stations.
Ray Harvey, an artist from Washington, Missouri, was selected to paint the mural on this vintage gas station right in the center of town. Now, there is a mural board of directors who selects the theme and suggests elements to be included in the painting, but for the most part, it's up to the artist to create the design.
I do pencil sketches, and these are very important because it kind of gets what came from their mouth and their mind, which went into my mind, and what I picture, and seeing if it has anything to do with what they had pictured originally.
The theme of this artwork focuses around Bill Wallace, the owner of the gas station, who has passed away, and his involvement in the Cuba community.
We've taken the three garage bays, and paneled them, and have designed 3 designs.
So what does Amelia Earhart have to do with the town of Cuba?
Well, she was flying cross-country and she was headed for Muskogee, Oklahoma, and her plane was forced down outside of Cuba.
Now, not all the murals reflect the building they are painted on. However, they are all historic in nature.
Did they know what brought her down?
Nope. So they all have to do with his history of Cuba and or the nation. For instance, the Gold Star Boys, that mural, we knew we needed a very long wall.
This mural represents the Blue Bonnet train that traveled through Cuba, and during World War II, it took the boys of this town off to fight. The 6 faces in the painting are of those servicemen who didn't make it back home. One of them was Wilbur Vaughn's brother.
He was in for 46 months, and I get a little bit emotional. And I remember sitting on the front porch that evening when he left. And I could hear the train as it left. And all of our boys from Cuba left on that train.
When you see that mural, are you happy it's there?
Oh, I'm very proud. Oh, absolutely. They done such a good job.
It's nearly impossible to stand in the center of Cuba and not see at least one mural. And if you can't, just turn the corner.
We have many, many ideas and not enough walls. We've even been known to build a wall.
But using an outside wall as a canvas can bring its own set of challenges.
Regarding the surface, inevitably the grout lines and mortar lines or a hole or a flaw in the surface will be right where someone's eye or nose is. You try to stay away from that, but it happens. We try to prep the surface, very careful about prepping. We want to make sure we use the best materials, the best conditions, the painting at the right temperature. If there's any sealers or block fillers or varnishes involved, we have to make sure all the quality is good. We want this to have as long a lifespan as possible. But failure to plan is planning to fail.
His artwork on the side of the Wallace gas station is Harvey's second mural here in Cuba. His first depicts this town's infamous brush with fame.
Harvey painted this mural of Wilbur Vaughn's close encounter with Betty Davis, actually her husband, in a restaurant in Cuba.
So when they came out of the restaurant, I snapped a picture. And when I did so, I heard her husband, at the time she was married to William Sherry, cussed me out and said, "I'm going to kill you." So I took off running. There were some tires, and I jumped over the tires, and he didn't make it. He tripped and fell in the mud. He called me all kinds of names, and he said, "When I catch you, I'm going to kill you." So at age 19, I knew I was too young to die at that time. So I took off running.
The cost of each mural varies. One can cost $10,000, while another as much as $30,000. But the project is heavily supported by the people of Cuba.
We actually have only had one fundraiser, and the rest of it has come through businesses and people that are interested in the mural project, and it's been local.
It took Harvey about 1 week to paint each one of the panels on the gas station, give or take a few days of uncooperative weather. And just because they met their goal of 12 murals by 2007 doesn't mean additional murals won't be popping up.
And you know, I think it's great to have the public art, and I think it's given Cuba a sense of pride, and something that they can be proud of.